Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to start. Would somebody be kind enough to close the back door for me, please? Okay. Good afternoon. We are on the record. Today is Tuesday, the 5th day of September, 2023. This is a City Council caucus meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 4 p.m. start, and the clock on my cell phone is showing 4:04 p.m. May I have a roll call for the commencement of this meeting? Councilperson Ridley, Councilperson Prinzari, Councilperson Baggiano, Councilperson Saleh, Councilperson Solomon,
Here.
Councilperson Gilmore,
Present.
Councilperson DeGise, Councilperson Rivera, Council President Waterman. Okay. We have 7 council members in attendance at 4:04 p.m. On behalf of the Council President Waterman and members of the Municipal Council, in accordance with the New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Publics Meeting Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the posting of the bulletin board on the first floor of City Hall. The annual notice, which is schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2023, and filed in the office of the city clerk on that would be Friday, September 1st, 2023 at 4 p.m. In addition, at the time of its preparation of the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday the 1st, 2023 at 4:00 p.m. to the mayor, municipal council, business administrator, corporation council, and the local newspapers, and posted on the city's website so I can certify to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. I'll now turn it over to Council President Waterman.
Good evening, Council President, council members. The Department of Public Safety has, I believe, 6 resolutions for your consideration tonight. The first one, agenda number 10.59, resolution 23707. It's a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Millennium Communication Group for phone upgrades and related services for police IT move under the interlocal purchasing system, which is a cooperative purchasing system in the state of New Jersey. The totality of the contract is $1.432 million, and this is to the final stage of moving all of our computers, computer servers.
Say that again. Which one is that? Because we didn't.
23707. I started with the biggest one. Okay, so this is the final stage of moving all the computer servers, switchers, phone systems from Journal Square and from the parking authority in the north to the new public safety headquarters. Those buildings then will be turned over to the business administrator to either cancel the leases or to do whatever he needs to do with the properties.
Yeah, council, it's our intention to not renew these leases, which we'll see a little bit of a budget cut next year for those items, but we do have debt service due on the new building, so we'll potentially use some of those dollars to offset that.
Questions? Next one, Director.
Okay. Now we'll go, that was the big one. Now we'll go in order. Agenda item number 10.31, resolution 23679. It's a resolution authorizing the award of a competitively bid contract with Robertson Associates to create a customized agency policy manual for the Department of Public Safety, Division of Police. It's in the amount of $79,440. It's being paid for out of federal forfeiture funds. It's not coming out of the city's budget. And the goal is to establish a manual and standardize all of the orders that have been done over the years, remove any contradictory and out-of-date ones, and have one manual that we can pass to everybody for the policies and procedures of the Jersey City Police Department.
Item number
31.
10.31.
Hey. Gilmore?
So what do we use now?
The general orders, they keep the general orders in sequential order as they're issued. So there's just general order after general order. So the police have to go, and the Attorney General guidelines, et cetera. So the police have to go through all of these general orders. We want to standardize it into a manual with permanent policies and procedures so that if a new chief comes in, they can't necessarily just change the order, or they can't rely on an old order that's outdated. So this company comes in, brings everything up to date, ensures that it's within the permanent policies of the Attorney General and the prosecutor now, and then it will become one manual. Okay.
Sorry, Director. Bob, so I know you said it covers the general orders. Could you kind of elaborate on the scope of the manual? What is it,
Everything.
everything? So
It'll be
every
everything from
policy,
coming to work, regulations for roll call. I mean, if you look at the NYPDs, it's about this size. It's everything from coming in, what your duties, general duties and responsibilities to specific duties and responsibilities at different jobs.
and does it cover sort of operational sort of parts of the police department? So obviously there's I'm an employee, I'm an officer, come into work, certain things, but would it cover, how does the police department handle certain situations? Does it cover that level of operational detail?
As guidance, yes, within the Attorney General guidance, because the Attorney General guidance controls. We cannot not follow the Attorney General guidance on how we respond to vehicle pursuits, other jobs and stuff like that.
And then two other quick follow-ups. Obviously, Attorney General guidances will change, our policies will change.
They have to, yes.
When let's say we create the manual, what is then the policy around just sort of updating it? Is this sort of an annual thing we're going to?
We'll follow what the best policing procedure across the country uses, what they call interim orders.
Okay.
So the policies are permanent.
Yep.
But if you come up with a new one, let's say the Attorney General changes a guideline,
Yeah.
an interim order will be issued and attached to that policy.
Okay.
And then when we reprint the manual the following year, it would have to be permanently updated.
Got it. And then the last question would just be, if we approve this, what's our timeline? When does the city get?
They're ready to start now. I don't know how long it'll take them to do it.
Okay, if you could just ask them so we have that before
Sure.
Thursday, that'd be great.
Okay. Agenda item number 10.41. It's resolution 23689. It's authorizing a shared service agreement pursuant to our Uniform Shared Service Consolidation Act for the City of Jersey City to provide on-duty police services to the Jersey City Housing Authority. This is the standard Shared Services Act we have with the Housing Authority that allows them to give us the funds that they can get from the federal government for policing in the Housing Authority. Okay, resolution, agenda number 10.42. File number resolution 23-690. It's a resolution authorizing an award of a contract to Software House International for the purchase of Barracuda networks and subscriptions for the Department of Public Safety, Division of Communications through the New Jersey Cooperative Alliance, NGCPA, Bergen County Co-op. I know it says it's an award of a contract, which it is, but this is just our re-upping. It's $29,000, and this is the Barracuda network that protects us from being penetrated from, as one of our layers of protection, from being penetrated from outside malware. So it covers our entire public safety, and it's $29,000. We already have it. We're just upping our subscriptions for next year. And the next two, 10.44 and 10.45, resolution 23-692 and 23-693. are related. So with your permission, Madam President, I'll talk about them both. They are resolutions authorizing a licensed agreement with two different entities for our fire department. Local 825's operating engineers and the Liberty Science Center. And the purpose is for us to use their facilities, their crane school in the case of the union, and the Liberty Science Center in the case of the Liberty Science Center, for us to use them to train and practice and qualify for high-angle rope rescues. Liberty Science Center has that huge area that we can use, and the union has actual overturned cranes on different levels that we can practice in a realistic fashion. We're just asking for permission to work with them. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, council members.
Evening, President Waterman, members of the council. I have 8 items before you today. First one is agenda number 1046, 23694. Resolution will authorize the award of a contract to Matt's Clean Air Technologies to perform emergency cleaning of HVAC units and ductwork cleaning at various firehouses in the city. Total amount of this contract is $55,020 and will be completed upon delivery of services. Next is 10.47, 23695. Resolution will authorize the award of a contract to EMCO to perform elevator inspections and maintenance services citywide. Total amount of the contract is $40,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $2,000. 10.48, 23696. Resolution will authorize the award contract to Triborough Contractors Hardware Corporation to supply various hardware supplies as needed for the DPW Division of Buildings and Streets. Total amount of the contract is $39,689.10 with a temporary encumbrance of $6,000. 1049, 23697. Resolution will authorize the award of a contract to Millennium Communications to furnish a managed services support repairs contract for various locations throughout the city, which include Jackson Square City Hall Annex, Jackson Square 342 MLK Drive, Jackson Square Kearney Avenue Complex, and City Hall. Total amount of this contract is $53,960. 1050, 23698. This resolution will authorize the award of a contract to Northeast Auto and Truck Parts LLC, provide various automotive parts for the city's automotive fleet for the Department of Public Works Automotive Division. Total amount of the contract is $600,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $1,000. 1051, 23699. The resolution will authorize the award of a contract to W.E. Timmerman Incorporated to provide repairs associated with heavy-duty vehicles in the city's automotive fleet for the DPW Division of Automotive Services. Total amount of the contract is $40,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $5,000. 1053, 23701. Resolution will authorize the award of a contract to Herc Reynolds Incorporated for various equipment rentals for citywide projects for the Department of Public Works. Total amount of the contract is $45,000. And the last is 1054, 23702. Resolution will authorize a month-to-month extension not to exceed 6 months with Italian U.S. Northeast LLC to provide janitorial services citywide for the Division of DPW Division of Solid Waste Recycling. Total amount of this contract not to exceed is $80,000.
I do have a question. Director, I just apologize if I missed something. This one, 1054, you've got the 6-month extension, and then 1055, it's a competitively bid contracts, the cleaning services for janitorial services. How do those two interact, the temporary contract and potentially awarding a more permanent contract?
I think the problem was there was some legal issues as far as putting a new contract out to bid, which they're still working on. I know Director Dublin was supposed to be here tonight. I know her child was taken sick earlier today. So right now, this is giving us a temporary extension until we can get everything in order to get a regular bid out.
Okay, and are you able to speak on 1055 if Director Dublin's not here?
Sorry,
Are you able to speak on 1055 if Director Dublin is unable to attend?
she would have 1055. I know. Yeah.
She has the details on that. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah. got it.
Rich, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
No, that's not him.
That's, thank
No. Then it had to be, is it, Shays?
What is it, Rich?
1052. This was a purchase. Shay, and he's gone. You want to handle it, Greg? On 1052? No, I didn't. I didn't.
No, he didn't speak. Yeah, he didn't say nothing about 52.
Yeah, that was one. Okay, yeah, 1052. That's for the, I can handle that if you'd like.
It's the leasing service.
Agenda 1052, 2370, resolution authorizing award of a contract to Lease Servicing Center Incorporated. DBA is Government Capital for a 5-year lease of 19 2023 Ford Interceptor, that's the marked police vehicles, and 15 Chevrolet Trax through the software cooperative formerly known as the National Joint Powers for the Department of Public Safety, Division of Police. The, obviously, the last new marked vehicles we purchased was in 2000. The fleet is getting older. 19, these are all marked police units. And the Chevy Trax will be used by the parking, traffic enforcement end. As you can see, they used to use the scooters, but they no longer, they're cost prohibitive. They're about 30 some odd $1,000. And the availability is sketchy at best. So the most convenient, affordable vehicle out there was the Chevy Trax. And he'll be using them for the enforcement division.
Thanks, Greg.
Anything else? Good night.
Thanks. Elder? Get it. Well, that's why I called your last name, because I know the two out there.
Good afternoon, council. I'm here representing architecture for infrastructure. I have 2 items. The first item would be agenda item 10.15, resolution 2363. It's a resolution awarding contract to Adamo Brothers Construction for Leonard Gordon safety improvements.
Mic up.
Wow, I can hear myself pretty good. First item, agenda 10.15, resolution 23663. Resolution awarding contract to Adamo Brothers Construction for Leonard Gordon safety improvements in the amount of $1,955,250. Funding is from Capital Parks account.
What number, what item, 10.5? Oh, 15.
15, yeah.
5.
That's 5.
You want to say anything you said? This is your part.
Testing. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to the forefront. As soon as this contract's awarded, how soon can we get shovels in the ground?
As soon as we get permits.
Permits, how long,
I know the contractor's anxious to start for you.
and how long do you expect this project to take in terms of time span? Like guesstimate? Give me the long end, not the short
At
end.
least 300 days. That's going to depend on the winter weather at this point.
Okay, so 300 days. That's basically the year. Okay, just wonder.
Yeah, Brian, do me a favor. I spoke to you briefly before. The Sergeant B. Anthony Park. It's completely dark at night. They've been asking for, I think, for 2 years to have some electric lights put into the park so people can use it at night. So would you please do me a favor and look into it, Brian?
Will do. Okay, second item, agenda 10.62, resolution 2023-710. Resolution awarding contract to McCloskey for new HVAC system at the police training facility in the amount of $1,335,000. This is under the Hunterdon County Educational Services Co-op. Funding is through the general buildings improvements.
6-2. You want to say anything? You good? Okay, next one.
Thank you. I'll be handing this over to Amanda Diamond.
And the baton.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Amanda Diamond. I am the new Director of
Speak
Sustainability.
into the mic. We can't hear you.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, let me introduce myself. My name is Amanda Diamond. I'm the new Director of Sustainability. I'm representing on behalf of Sustainability. Today I will be talking about item 1016, Resolution 23-664. The resolution accepting the grant award and authorizing the execution of a grant agreement for the 2022 Water Quality Grant Restoration Grant from New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for the City of Jersey City. This grant has the intent to mitigate pollution and capture stormwater. This will be done by implementing green infrastructure, including installing tree trenches along one side of MLK from Bramhill Avenue to Forest Street. There will also be green infrastructure incorporated into the curb extensions at the intersection of MLK Drive and Bramhall Street. We were awarded $770,000. The city agreed to a cash match of 5.6%, which is $43,000. Throughout the next few months, we will be working with Rutgers Cooperative Extension, finalizing preliminary engineering designs with the divisions such as engineering and transportation. We will host a community meeting, and we expect to start construction next spring.
Just, if you can advise our office with regards to the community meetings, so we can know, so we can, get out there so everyone knows what's going on.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'll hand it off. to
Okay.
Mike.
This is all infrastructure. Come on, guys.
Good afternoon, Council President, members of council. We do have a number of infrastructure items.
Okay.
We're just going through directors. Thank you. Division of Transportation Planning just has one resolution. It's agenda item number 10.20, resolution 23-668. And this resolution is accepting another grant award from the NJDEP, this time for the e-mobility program from NJDEP in the amount of $600,000 to further electrify the fleet of VIA Jersey City vehicles. We were notified earlier this year that we would receive this grant, and this is basically just adding electric vehicles to the fleet and offsetting some of the costs the city pays for the program by adding these electric vehicles.
Mike, so help me understand. So the grant come from the state to the city to buy the vehicles for VIA? So who owns the vehicles?
Correct. So VIA actually uses.
No. I'm asking who I'm not saying that. I know the answer.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
who owns the vehicles?
So VIA uses a vehicle partner to lease the vehicles that we have in the program. So they pay a monthly cost to have those vehicles in the fleet, and we just pay VIA for the service, basically.
They own
They don't technically own the vehicles. They lease them on a monthly basis.
No,
So these hours are not to purchase vehicles. It's simply to pay VIA to provide electric vehicles in the fleet, to provide the service.
so VIA is going to continue to lease the vehicle.
Correct. And it's basically just offsetting the cost that we pay, the city pays VIA for the service.
Why should we pay VIA in?
Great. Okay, I'll hand it off to our Director of Traffic Engineering, Jen Wong.
Good afternoon. I have 7 items today. The first one, agenda item 3.2, ordinance 2387. This is to permit on-street parking on the west side of Baldwin Avenue between Route 139 and Washburn Ave. Good, next one. Next one is 3.3, ordinance 2388. This is to convert Academy between Torres and Van Ripen Street into a one-way, and to also establish on-street parking on both sides of the street, and to also establish no turn on red at the intersection of Baldwin and Academy. Sorry, Bergen and Academy.
On 3.2, I just want to ask you one question. Did you, were you part of the meeting today?
Yes.
Over there? And the people that were I couldn't be at that meeting, but the people, they all agreed on this?
Correct. Mhm.
Okay,
They're all good with it.
they all said, okay,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Next one, Jennifer.
Item 3.4, ordinance 2389. This is associated with some roadway improvements on Duncan between Route 1 and 9 and West Side. This is to establish no turn on red at the intersection of Duncan and Mallory, and to also prohibit on-street parking on the south side of south side of Duncan, just the 1 block east of 1 and 9.
Questions?
The no turn on, the no turn on red on Mallory, doesn't Mallory go into a dead end down there? Is it, the park is, yeah, it comes through, it turns
Yes.
into a dead end.
Yeah, they're both sides are dead ends. This is just because it's the entrance and exit to the park, and there are a lot of pedestrians at that intersection.
This was at the request of a number of safety improvements we're doing on Duncan Avenue in particular that have been a lot of community involvement, and this is going to make that whole intersection a lot safer for the people who live there, walk there, go to school there. So definitely needed. Thank you.
Next is 3.5, ordinance 2390. This is for reserve parking at various locations in the city. All of these locations were presented at the committee meeting and approved at the meeting on June 27th.
What was 308 MLK supposed to be designated, as well? Something happened, they pulled that?
So the 308 is a regulation. It's a generic parking space. It's not associated with a specific resident.
It's because,
Yeah. So it should be included on the agenda under regulations.
okay,
Right.
thank you, Sharon.
Okay, next one is 1017 Resolution 23665. I'll also, if that's okay, I can present 1019 667. They're related. This is for loading zones on Duncan Ave at the intersections of Mallory, Belvedere, and Olean, as well as Fairmount just east of Bergen and Storm just east of Bergen. And the second resolution is to just relocate a bus stop to accommodate those loading zones. Okay, and then the last one is 1018, Resolution 23666. This is to establish a loading zone on Grove Street and Mercer Street. There was an previously existing bus stop. It's marked as a bus stop. So we're just creating a new loading zone in that area.
Questions? Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Finish infrastructure.
Yes, finish with infrastructure.
Thank you. Brian? Hey, I told you I had 2 today. Okay, Brian.
Good afternoon, Council President and council members. My name is Brian Rands. I'm the Legal and Compliance Officer for Community Development, and we are respectfully requesting the council to approve a discharge of mortgage encumbering 207 Linden Avenue in 2015.
10.27.
I apologize. Agenda 10.27 and Resolution 23-675. So back in 2015, a constituent borrowed $17,059.33 from DCD to repair her home at 207 Linden Avenue. In return for the loan with federal home funds, she signed a note and a mortgage, which was recorded with the Hudson County Register. Pursuant to the mortgage, after 2 years, deferred payment, no interest mortgage, it'll be forgiven in its entirety. So, since we're in 2023 and the mortgage was issued in 2015, all the conditions have been satisfied and we're requesting that the mortgage be discharged.
Any questions? Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, Brian.
Tricia?
Good afternoon, council members. I'm here to present agenda number 10.11, resolution 23-659. It's a resolution to approve an accelerated tax sale, which is required by state statute. Questions? The next item is agenda number 10.12, resolution 23-660. It's a resolution to cancel tax certificate 2016-21-22 sold in error and the refund purchases back to the lien holder.
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I, sorry,
Go ahead.
Director, sorry, it's a separate question than the resolution. Just want to ask, do you know when the fourth quarter tax bills are going out?
No, the state hasn't approved the budget yet,
Oh, okay.
but I don't have a rate yet until the county sends it to me.
Got it. Thank you for the update.
Ed?
Council President, members of the council, good afternoon. I'm here for item 10.13. A resolution authorizing to cancel the taxes from 2015 to 2017 on a particular property. What happened here was that when a consolidation deed was filed, we're supposed to consolidate 3 lots. Unfortunately, when the consolidation took effect, there is 1 lot that was that slept through the crack, as they say. So we continue to assess that particular parcel from 2015 to 2017. And the resolution basically authorizes the tax collector either to credit the erroneous taxes or refund.
So I'm just curious because I get a lot of emails concerning assessment. That's all. So we missed this one. You said it slipped through the crack. That's what I heard.
Right. Yeah. What happened was when you have a consolidation deed, say in this particular resolution, 3 lots we're supposed to create a 1 single lot. What happened? We deleted the 2 when the new lot that was created or became effective for the year 2015. And 1 lot basically was not taken out of the system. So it continuously being billed for 2015 through 2017.
So we was just building 2 lots. I'm trying to.
No,
follow
the
this one.
2 lots were already deleted from the system.
Oh, they was deleted.
Yeah, because they were part now of a new lot 22.01.
When did they notify you of this error?
It took a while. I think what happened here because there was no dining notices showing on the account because it was sold on a tax sale. And then it probably when the lien holder was initiating foreclosure, that was the time that it was brought to us.
So it was initially, it was 3 separate lots
That's correct.
that was supposed to be consolidated into 1 lot.
Yes.
And then, so he was paying tax, wait,
He was paying basically, that particular lot, which was not taken out from the system, is still being assessed for those years. In the meantime, the consolidated lot is, has been continuously being billed. It's a duplicate then for that particular lot.
when they consolidate, does the assessment of the taxes don't change, does it? Like, let's say if
No, it's a duplicate. Say for argument's sake, you got 3 lots, you got 100,000 each. So the new lot created would be 300,000. And there's another excess 100,000 on a particular lot, which was not deleted from the system.
So what I'm saying, so have he been paying taxes on if it was the 300,000, let's say, have he been paying taxes on that?
No.
Both basically from the 300,000 and the remaining 100,000. The 100,000 basically is a duplicate.
He couldn't have been paying both if the lien holder purchased the lot. And that's the only way he found out that he wasn't paying it.
No, it's being billed. What I'm saying is the property owner was paying on the regular lot. And then one that basically was not deleted, that's where the lien holder picked it up.
So he was,
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying now.
Yes.
Okay, so it's almost like you would charge him twice.
Yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. I get it.
wait, so
Somebody jump in here.
he was,
Makes no sense.
he was paying the full taxes for 3 consolidated lots. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then he was paying for the lot that was not part of the consolidation?
Guys,
He wasn't paying for it. That's how I want to.
He wasn't paying for that?
Right?
No, the property owner
Come on,
pays,
help us out here.
property owner legitimately, pays what is due on his property.
For the 3 lots?
That
or 2
one,
lots?
Taxes.
which was not, taken out of the system. We continuously billed it for 2015 and 2017. Technically, that's a duplicate billing.
My question is, so the lots were supposed to be consolidated. Now,
That's
is he paying for the 2 consolidated lots and then the other lot separately? Or is he paying for all 3 lots and then somehow he's been mistakenly billed for the lot that wasn't somehow part of the?
That's correct.
wouldn't the guy know this?
Then one.
Wouldn't the person who owns the property know this? If it was all consolidated and he's paying one bill and then he gets another bill for
How
another
does
piece
this
of
happen?
property?
A lot of times property owner, basically, they don't pay any attention because they know that that particular lot has already been taken or consolidated into another lot.
What's the process for
Right.
something like this that it
You,
slipped through the cracks? What,
it
like,
doesn't make sense to us.
how do we, what's the process that this slipped through the cracks? Like, once there's a consolidation?
One way of addressing this is before we sell it at a tax sale, there should be an audit that should be going before this goes on the sale.
Like, the people aren't checking their work when they
Right.
consolidate it? I mean, consolidating the lots and,
Yeah, that's one of the area. It was not totally reviewed.
Oh,
So, but, hey, Ed,
that's it.
Right.
Come on, John, help us out. We are
The-
all confused here.
What he's whispering is that the old lot was not deleted from the system. That's why we continue
but
to bill it.
but he was paying his fair share if it was all 3 lots.
yes.
That's what he's saying. So it's not like the onus is really on us for making a mistake. He was paying for the 3 lots, right?
Right.
It's the extra
Yeah.
lot that wasn't taken off. He's paying for 4 lots.
No, it went to tax sale. That's how he found out. He was paying for 3 lots, right, Ed?
That's correct, yes.
Exactly.
And how many lots he have?
The 3 lots were
three.
consolidated into one. That's what he's paying.
What about the one you said that wasn't that's put in there? He was
The
paying
lien
those-
holder paid for that. That's where the mistake was.
Yes.
The
Now,
guy, oh my God.
Okay, sure.
Oh, now that's.
you understand?
The lots got consolidated into one new lot, and there was a ghost entry left in the computer system for one of the old lots that still owed taxes as far as the system was concerned. So it went out for a tax sale certificate sale. It never should have been up for sale. It was just a mistake in the computer system. So
And
this,
the guy who owns it, John, didn't know this?
no, he probably wasn't getting bills for it anymore because if it was consolidated, if 3 lots were consolidated into one, it's probably a new ownership.
Yeah, but when it went up for tax sale, the owner is notified.
Correct.
But there wouldn't have been any owner anymore because the lot didn't exist.
Oh my
It's
God.
an old lot.
How did this come to our attention now? I'm just curious.
Probably because when it sounds like the person who bought the tax sale certificate is trying to redeem the tax sale certificate and found out that the lot that he purchased the tax sale certificate on no longer exists.
Right.
It's a complete accounting error. That's all it was.
How can we prevent
Only
this
it's reasons.
again? Is there a way, a mechanism in place for us to prevent something like this again, based on these system upgrades that we've been having?
I think the key is review the accounts that are subject to the tax sale, especially when it concerns real estate taxes.
I feel like it shouldn't even get to tax sale. I feel like that's like you're at the end point of the process when it's at the tax sale. Like there should be a quality control mechanism like to review when there's a consolidation or separation of lots and
I think that you're correct. At that point, it's already a year's worth of data. So my office will work with Ed and we should do a review monthly to make sure by the time, because the tax sale doesn't start until mid to late November, early December. So by then we'll be able to fix 10 months worth if there's any issues. And if there were an issue, it would only be within those few weeks.
And how often do you assess all of these new properties that's going up? I'm just curious. Could we get a report like that? Like every quarter, because we have so much building and it's good for us to get a report on the assessment of all this building that we're doing, because the property value in Jersey City has definitely increased. So it's good for us to see exactly, is everyone being built right? Because we know our local residents are. We just want to make sure that all the new development that's going up, and the majority of the development that's going up is pretty much high-rise building. So we want to make sure they are being assessed correctly too.
Every
So could
year,
you give us, could you give us a report every month on the new property that is going up, the new assessment? Because assessment change as different, I guess, portion of the building process take place.
yeah, we can provide you a list of properties that additional assessments are being added on into a particular parcel.
Right, that would help us, and then let us know, also give us the property value around the assessment that you're doing.
Yeah, I just want to inform everybody that every year the office files two types of books. We have the added assessment and the regular tax list for the year. But we can provide you the increases or the changes in the assessment, whether renovations occurred.
Yeah, we just wanted to update quarterly, because if we keep receiving emails from different departments about assessment, then we have a responsibility to really look into it. That's why we're asking for it. I just think that's fair. We are receiving emails from different departments saying the assessments are off. If somebody's getting assessed by the waterfront for a certain amount, and the rest of the people on the south side of the city is getting a low, a higher amount, then there's something wrong, because we know down this way the value of the property is enormous here.
You mentioned about on a quarterly that you'll get a list of changes in the assessments.
We really want to see it ourselves. We want to see the new property that's going up, the beginning of the assessment that you gave, okay? And as it progresses, the assessments, because based to my understanding, when you first start building, the land is assessed at one value, but as you start developing on there, then it increases. So we want to see what that increase is.
Yeah, that's correct. It's
right.
Partial assessment, yes.
Correct. The reason why, because like I said, if by any chance, because the property value down this way is enormous, we want to make sure that it's fair across the board, because we're getting letters that is not. That's just from us as a council. We have
Send you the
answer
listing.
to our constituents, okay?
Okay.
Ed, so if it was inputted into the system that it's consolidated, shouldn't the system like knock it off?
No, the system does not do some kind of an edit automatically.
It doesn't have that.
It doesn't have that,
All we invested in the system, it doesn't have that. This a new system?
No, every so often this one occurs.
Oh, every so often. It just happens. Oh,
Yeah, the same thing, like,
it just happens. Wow. It just happens.
Once
All
it's
this
brought up to our attention, we really-
investment in these systems. And this just happens. Think about that. Do that sound right? I'm not being funny.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the program basically to catch this kind of errors.
But there has to be,
Why?
there has to be something and put in place to catch it. Because in essence, it's our fault. It's not really the property owner fault. It's our fault, because they're paying whatever that assessed value is. Now, God forbid, let's just say that this person, it went to foreclosure and then they went to court and litigation and everything, and that guy was away on vacation or in the hospital. Then we in a you know what load of trouble because of all this. So there has to be a system that
There is.
if
There's-
something's consolidated.
It's called
You need that.
checking your work.
Well,
So when you consolidate it, you make sure that the 3 lots that weren't, that are in the system, that they're no longer in the system. So
or even if you're short.
That's basically what is normally being done.
not you, but I'm saying the staff needs to
Right.
double check.
Even if it's short staffed, at least have like a program that would trip it off and say, hey, red flag, there's a problem here. You don't have that. And that's the scary part about it.
We talking about the system. That's what it is. Ed. We, based on what you're saying, is like, this can't be prevented. That's what you're really telling us. And so they saying you should have a system that has a red flag, there's a duplicate here or whatever. Okay, but you're saying it doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, an individual or somebody would really have to deal with this type of changes.
Okay, so we investing in different systems and here we are in 2023 with AI is a monster out there. Technology is a monster out there and you telling us there's nothing we can do. Think about how that sounds.
Well, the thing is that we do diligence every time we do our job. That's the
No, I'm not trying to say you're not trying to do your job, Ed. You're saying that there's nothing that can be done. And we're saying with all this technology that we have, okay, there have to be some type of system out there that can catch what we are saying. It have to be. Now, maybe the system you have is not the right system. Maybe it needs to be a conversation with that. All right, that's what we're saying, but there's something that we have to do. We can't just keep allowing this to happen because you can see it's costly.
I think Metro's quality check, if you do it monthly, then, that should help out a lot. Like ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure, as they say. So we're here in 2023, like looking at something from 2015 and 2017.
Right. So I'm just curious. So based on your system, when was the last time your system, your IT system, when was the last time that was updated?
actually, the system is prescribed by the state.
Uh-huh.
It's basically in effect for the longest time.
Okay, so we're connected with the state, so the state is outdated.
That's correct.
So there's nothing that we can gather on our end with our systems when we put stuff in. You want to help out?
Yeah, Council President, Council, I believe it's just, as I mentioned before, the monthly reconciliations, not to dumb it down, but think of it like a bank account, right?
Yeah.
All your transactions in a month, it's easier to catch it within a 4-week cycle than a 4-month cycle or an 8-month cycle. So as long as we put together a system, a program that
Right.
the first week of the following month, the prior month is reconciled, similar to a bank account,
Uh-huh.
we should be able to get a handle on these because, we're not talking about thousands of transactions. We're
No.
talking about, how many do you do of these a month, Ed?
You're talking about, the whole, you're talking about 5,000,
Yeah, so it's manageable.
It's manageable. Okay. All right. So Ed, we'll look for the report every quarter. All right.
All right.
And we'll
Yes, I
figure out how to manage this system here because this doesn't make sense to us. We scratching our head, right? We scratching my head. Who say that?
Christmas is coming. Let's move on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Shannon.
Good afternoon, Council President,
Good afternoon.
members of the council. Item 1040, Resolution 23688. Authorizing the submission of an application to the New Jersey Urban Enterprise Zone Authority for Enterprise Zone Assistance Funds for the Jersey City UEZ Off-Duty Police Program.
Director's not here. Go ahead, James, because I would like to actually, demonstrate this funds here, like who's going to get the extra hands? Because you see, we all up here waiting.
So the project details is 24 officers, 5 days a week, 6 hours a day per officer, 247 days per year. So we reached out to the police August 9th, and we're waiting to hear back.
Oh, go ahead, y'all jump in. That's why we need her here.
You're looking for where?
Yeah, so for example, the last time we had the funding for off-duty, there was mixed information about who was receiving it, the officers, when they were deployed, how they were deployed. For example, the West Side Partnership actually has a very basic sign-in procedure for their off-duty program where they have a number of businesses that they have to check into. And the concern was you would see 8 officers on the pedestrian plaza, and then we would ask for some over on Bergen Avenue, and we were told that there were not available. So we just want to make sure that this time around that's dispersed in a more balanced and equitable across the city and the different commercial corridors, because we all have pockets that have need for these programs.
Yeah, they had them
BA.
on Newark Avenue and Little India, and they had them in Journal Square.
The BA.
We go in for this program, they have to be divided amongst the city equally.
He can't speak for this. That's why we needed the police director. But could you reach out to her and ask her exactly how will these police officers, receive their assignment and where the assignment will be?
Yeah, I think
All right, 'cause we need the police officers. You can see that. Everyone needs them. We just wanted to know more details exactly where they would be stationed and that type of thing. He done gave us, the hours and stuff that we good with that, but we really want to know where they will be located.
Yeah,
So tell her to send us an email.
Yeah, but before Thursday, we'll have that. It was just important that we worked with each SID, because as we learned last year, one SID may ask for them late night, the other one may want them weekday during the day. So we do work with the SIDs to try to figure out what their requests are, but we should put together at least this calendar or schedule to show what it looks like.
This way we'll know.
Part of the concern was that the officers that were being used for off-duty were actually filling in plugs and holes, which is nothing to do with the UEZ funding from your all's perspective. This had to do with them saying, well, we have on-duty officers, but we have these off-duty officers that we're going to send over there anyway. And I understand it's a resource issue, but then there was, you would ask them when they would check in and how they would check in, and that information was not recorded. And saying that there is an example, well, I was never privy to that information, that there are examples of different ways that you can manage a program. And I'm happy to connect you guys with Chris Bernardo and Jerry Blankman as to how they do the off-duty program on West Side.
Yeah, the grant specifies that they have to be dedicated officers. You're right, in that, Councilwoman. And the other aspect of that is that we can create a digital footprint on those individuals. As far as the staffing is concerned, we have adjusted the rates, so it shouldn't necessarily be an issue.
So does the director know this whole thing already? That you're familiar with it? So then I wouldn't want to read this at 1 PM on Thursday. I'd like to read it tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll ask for it by noon tomorrow.
Can I ask one other question? Shannon, do you know the sort of timeline? So we approve this. Yeah, I think it has to go to UEZ for their approval. What, do we have a rough sense of ideally when we'd be seeing the officers?
We don't, not yet.
Christmas.
Council, just like other grants, and Councilman Solomon has actually requested this, once we receive a award letter, it's good as a bond, so to speak, and then we could lay out some dollars and get them back as long as we have the cash flow.
And one more question then. So this UEZ funding is separate from the other pockets of funding that we're waiting for the state to disperse any day now.
Correct.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Good afternoon, Council President and the rest of the council. I'm here on 5 items. I have a first reading ordinance, item 3.9, ordinance 23-094, an ordinance adopting amendments to the Morris Canal redevelopment plan, including the creation of the mixed-use F zone from properties currently zoned industrial or I district and mixed-use B district. This comes to you with a favorable recommendation from the planning board. Enclosed is the language showing the amendments, a map amendment, and the resolution of the planning board.
What's the, I guess, what's the difference? What's the major change?
Absolutely. So this ordinance, it was determined that the change to the zoning would trigger the inclusionary zoning ordinance. So there will be affordable housing in a future development at this site, should this ordinance move forward. As well as there will be a slight widening of Grand Avenue to better accommodate the extension of the bicycle cycle track, one more block to link up with Johnston Avenue. The zoning that's in place was a mix of a mixed use B zone and the industrial zone. This is realigning the map to allow for a larger residential development while still maintaining industrial zoning. It will allow for a mixed use building, I believe that tops out at 6 stories and includes a menu of options for the ground floor in this mixed use development.
Matt, is this the car wash?
That is correct. Yeah, I believe that we've met multiple times on this in the past. It's been kicking around for a while, Councilman. You're right, it is the car wash. Okay. All right, I'm going to move. There is a second reading ordinance that I can bring up Director Woodson on as well, but I'll move to resolutions first. Agenda item 10.28, resolution 23-676. This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Jersey City.
What number, Matt?
10.28. Resolution 23-676. Resolution directing the planning board to prepare an amendment or revision to the Newport redevelopment plan. This item comes with a number of enclosures. The petitioner for these amendments, I believe a representative is here, but they communicated me just last week that the potential amendments would also impact a neighboring redevelopment plan because currently one of their properties is bifurcated into 2 redevelopment areas, one being the Newport redevelopment plan and the other being the Harsimus Cove Station redevelopment plan. So take that into consideration when considering this resolution. The contents of the amendments are subject to change, but enclosed, it's largely limited to expanding the list of permitted uses in this redevelopment plan, which was first adopted in the mid-1980s. Okay, any questions or should I move on? Okay. Agenda item 10.29, resolution 23-677. This is a resolution authorizing the planning board to study and prepare an amendment for the Greenville Industrial Redevelopment Plan. Enclosed in here is a cover letter from Mr. Charles Harrington speaking to a consent order. This is concerning a site that's involved in the PPG sites, which you might be aware of, the environmental protection versus Honeywell. And this is trying to put forth consideration of an environmental overlay zone. In hopes to facilitate that cleanup. Okay. Agenda number 10.60, resolution 23-708, a resolution directing the planning board to prepare an amendment or revision to the Liberty Harbor North redevelopment plan. This has a lengthy amount of enclosures in it. And I did not print those with me, but it's my recollection that they are updating the maps, the regulating plans and capacity tables. And it has a number of changes that will take some time to study and put forth. We will also be looking at whether or not it triggers the inclusionary zoning ordinance.
Well, Matt,
Yes.
they would like to know, tabling it might be better because they don't have the maps and all that, you know.
They do. I just didn't print one out in my copy that I brought here today, but they are enclosed there.
Okay,
Yes.
because it sounded like you said we don't have the maps and you.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah.
Traveling light, Council President.
Okay, go ahead, man.
All right, and the last item that Director Woodson and I could potentially answer some questions on. There's two second reading items. 3.8 and 3.9, ordinance 23-093 and ordinance 23-094. I am more familiar with 3.9 and which is the ordinance addressing the LD.
You spoke on 3.9.
You spoke.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong place in my notes. 4.2 and 4.3. My bad. Ordinance 23-077 and ordinance 23-078. I apologize.
With regards to 4.2, I just want to make sure that there's some type of system that prioritize everyone who have been filed before the moratorium, because the new legislation would essentially allow people to be expedited and pass through the pipeline quicker. So we do want to make sure we're being fair by allowing all of the applications that were submitted first to go through first.
That's exactly what would happen. Just so you know, as far as the May 15th cutoff, we've only received one application since. And we are also over the proposed cap in every ward except Ward A. So the likelihood of anyone being approved outside of Ward A would probably not happen for a very long time.
Okay.
Is the board clear with that? That's the only reason why I'm asking.
Yes, I believe so.
Is there any way we can get a status report on when some of these are opening? I mean, I can calculate about 19 that were seen and approved by the CCB board from May to August of 2022. Is there any way we could reach out to those that got approval between 9 and 12 months ago, asking if and when they got their state approval and their estimated time of opening? I feel like some places are already leaving. They're, going to New York. I hear people saying, well, this venue is open, even though it's been approved. The owner has left. They have no interest in continuing to open in Jersey City, and they're kind of holding on to a spot.
It appears that a big part of that delay is at the state's level. We get a call from the state periodically when they're going to hear the final hearing for a case, and it's only, I may get a call once every month for possibly 2 applications. I think as a city, we're expediting pretty quickly.
Absolutely, I think so. But if we could have a list of what's gone through the state level, whether they've been approved or not, if they have a date to go through, and to get some that have been approved since May 2022, where are they at? They may have left, they may have not been seeking state approval, they may have been denied state approval, and they're holding on to an acceptance from us.
Okay, we can do that, sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a question? What happens with sort of changes to ownership after the council has made, given our local approval here? So if, the board comes to us, we're local Jersey City, we're, trying to open, we approve, and 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, that ownership structure changes and potentially a larger multi-state operator comes in and purchases a portion of the ownership. Is there anything in the ordinance that speaks to that? Do we get notice? Do we have to reapprove? Is there anything along those lines? Yeah.
100% sure how to answer that question. I think I'll have to get that for you.
Sure.
We'll check on that and we will let you.
If you guys could, that'd be great. It was a concern that was brought to my attention. I don't, the ordinance is pretty complex, so I didn't know if I'd missed something in it, and I wanted to address it in case, something like that happens.
Yeah, the ordinance, regards to CCB. Sorry, with regards to CCB does mention that an annual, local support renewal, by city council as well.
Yeah, so I guess that will kind of be like almost a check and balance, because at that point they will have to divulge if it's, well, do they have to divulge if it's, if
We should have a list
It
of
would.
every name.
It would?
So they- if
It would,
it's a
yes. And I think, part of the, I think what we're trying to potentially avoid possibly is someone getting the approval and then flipping it to
Yes.
somebody else. And I think, obviously there's the return. It requires the names of all the ownership and everybody else. So, and it needs to go to the state with that same package. So.
There's a way to highlight that information.
Yeah, sure.
It's not buried in a, 100-page document that, can be hard to, suss through sometimes. So maybe it's that official notice of ownership changes. One other quick question, Matt, can you just confirm on the zoning changes here that, did the amendments here, do they change where a dispensary can open in terms of, neighborhood commercial versus R1 versus, are there any changes to where a dispensary can open in this amendment?
We are, so that on a technical level, yes and no, because we are trying to align this ordinance with an ordinance that is pending scheduling, which would be phase 2 of the master plan changes. So some of the names there are reflecting that push and pull or timeline. We just reread that section. I believe there is some nuance to that. I think it would be best if I could send an email out to council.
Sure, yeah, a written answer, that's fine.
The text that is struck is in strike through thereafter, but I would prefer to have some time to respond to that question.
No, I guess he
Is anything else? It,
Thank you.
I think Maynard still have some.
Yeah, yes.
I have 3 resolutions. First resolution.
but it wasn't your turn.
Oh, wait.
Oh, we.
Not everybody, let's follow along. Let's follow pursuit. I want nobody said I give favoritism
Maynard
here.
from planning.
Yeah, he was coming up to answer with Matt with that ordinance, but he's on here. And I wouldn't want Vivian to think I cut. Come on, Vivian, because they know their numbers, believe me. They put the number there and Tammy handed it to me. Everybody know their spot. Come on, Vivian. I don't want you to think I let him ahead of you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council President and Council. I have 3 items today. First is item 10.9, which is resolution 23-657, which is the resolution authorizing the cancellation of unexpended budget appropriations balances. So basically what this is the 2015 and 2016 old grant accounts that we have to clear out of the FOW system. And item 10.10, which is resolution 23-658, and that's the 2016 and 27 old grant accounts that we have to clear out of the FOW system. This is just the formality that we have to do to clear out all the old grant accounts. Item 10.58, which is Resolution 23706. This is a resolution authorizing the assertion of a special item of revenue and appropriations to calendar year 23 for the municipal budget. And this is the two new grant accounts that we're adding post the adoption of the budget.
Can you, because I'm not really familiar with, if you can explain 10.9 and 10.10 in more details. So there's no money, is there money left over from these grants?
No, so actually, the majority of the grants that we receive, they are reimbursable. So we may receive a grant that's up to $4 million and we only spend 2 million. So the other 2 million is still on our books and we have to clear them off.
Oh, so
So it's not any money that we lost or any money that we received. It's just, that was a up to amount.
what would be some reasons that, I mean, if it's up to it, man, what would be like some reasons why we don't spend the amount that is up to?
So if it's something like summer food, maybe because of the kids didn't come, or, you know, usually with summer food, there's a big amount that this state allowed us. Sometimes it's up to like 600,000 and we only purchase 400,000 because of the vendors. We may only purchase $400,000 worth of food.
Yeah.
And so the other 200,000 is still sitting on the books.
Thank you.
Vivian.
Thank you.
Cohen.
Good evening, Council President, members of City Council. The Division of HHS Division of Food and Nutrition has two resolutions on tonight's agenda. The first, item number 10.21, Resolution 23669, a resolution authorizing the Jersey City Department of Health and Human Services to accept a donation mini grant from the New Jersey Breastfeeding Coalition for help in support of the breastfeeding health fair hosted by Jersey City WIC Department in the amount of $100.
How much?
100. We got it 2 days before the fair, so had to go through process. They weren't aware of the way things operate. Item number 10.22, Resolution 23670, a resolution ratifying the renewal of a contract with Whitson's Food Service for preparing senior home delivered meals, the Meals on Wheels program. This is a contract from 2022 that has a two options for renewal, and both entities would like to enter that renewal.
Good afternoon, Council President, Council, it's good to see you. I'm here on for the Department of Recreation, Youth Development, and Division of Park Maintenance. We have two resolutions on here. First one is 10.56, Resolution 23-704. Resolution to award a contract to ECS Cleaning Services for the cleaning service for Field House restrooms at 6 baseball fields throughout the city. And also 10.57, resolution resolution 23-705, allowing the Department of Recreation and Youth Development to accept spotted lanternfly chemical treatment grants funds from the New Jersey Department of Agriculture.
Isn't there a problem with that chemical that's being used, Keith?
I'm gonna have James answer those questions on the spotted lanternflies.
Good evening. We was looking into that, and when we asked the company, they came back and said it wasn't harmful to you.
What do you expect the company to save you? I would check into it further because I understand there's a problem, an issue with that chemical. We don't want people getting cancer or sicknesses.
Okay, I could look into it and see what else I can find out about it.
Yeah. Do we have the solution already, or we're gonna have to wait and then get it?
No, it's
Won't
coming
the season
through.
be over soon?
It's coming through the company, Davy. Davy is the company that's doing it, and they're bringing in the chemical.
Okay, do we know how long it's gonna take for us to get it? Because Because how long do those lantern flies stay around, right? We're changing seasons, so by the time we get it, will we need it?
Yeah, they're coming in quick. I figure they get approved, we talking about 2 weeks.
No, how long does the lantern fly stay around? The season's getting ready to go into a cold season. So about time we approve this, is it worth us approving right now? Because it will take time.
I think it is, but I could find out exactly when their dormant time begins and see if it's long enough.
As just want to follow,
ahead.
are we working with the forester on the treatment process and all that?
Yes.
Okay, great.
For the bathroom contract, it says they're visiting twice a day at these 6 baseball fields. Is that accurate or?
Yes.
Okay,
Some fields we've ramped it up to 3 times a day.
okay. Which fields are 3 times a day? Is,
Persian is 1,
thank you, okay.
and everybody else is still at 2. But if the request and a need is at the field, you can change it for them.
There's the missing doors also on Pershing Field. I don't know for the bathroom or.
Working on it right now.
Awesome. You know, I don't want people to see me when I'm in there in the bathroom. All right. Thank you, guys.
Any more questions before they leave? Because, got any? You sure? You good, Rich? You good? Just check out the chemical and let us know before Thursday, so we'll know how to, proceed.
Council President, I'm just.
All right, I'll get in contact with the forester. Me and Mike will talk about it and I'll get it back to you.
Go ahead.
So I know with the lantern flies, it says there, it's for egg mass treatment as well, which is over the winter. So
Okay.
if,
So, all right. So
even though the flies aren't around, the eggs are still here.
just let us know about the chemical. He
Okay.
said, check somebody else, because the company gonna tell you, it's no harm. That's what he said.
I'll check with Mike.
Is any other municipalities using this chemical for their
All dead.
anybody else?
Rich.
I can't tell you which one's in Jersey, but New York is.
Oh, New
I
York.
worked with Davey before. I know New York is.
Some different land of flies in New York, though.
Okay. Okay, Maynard.
Good afternoon, Council President and council members. I have 3 resolutions in front of you. The first one is item number 10.24, Resolution 23-672. It's a resolution providing local support for Ham and Chaz LLC to operate a Class 5 retail cannabis business at 747 West Side Avenue. It was approved by the CCB on February 6, 2023, approved by the Planning Board on July 25th, 2023. And they do have an MOU where they're donating 4% of its net profit. We're also involved in an expungement clinic and a cannabis education program for Snyder High School.
Questions?
Next is item number 10.25, Resolution 23-673. Once again, it's a resolution providing local support for Legacy to Lift It LLC to operate a Class 5 retail cannabis business at 490 West Side Avenue. It was approved by the CCB on December 12th, 2022, the Planning Board on July 25th, 2023. And they do have an LOI towards an expungement clinic with the Hoffman Center. Last one is item 10.26, Resolution 23-674. It's a resolution providing local support for Bud Space LLC to operate a Class 5 retail cannabis business at 270 Newark Avenue, approved by the CCB on September 12th, 2022, the Planning Board on May 9th, 2023. They don't have any formal MOUs, but they do mention in their application that they're going to there's going to be charitable donations to local organizations and nonprofits.
What's the name of what? Did they specify the names of the local organization?
It does not.
That's an E, right? Who's that?
Mhm. They've sent me 2 names. I can pull it up. we can get the formal documentation before Thursday.
We know why they don't have MOUs, man.
We actually reached out to them just last week prior to knowing that we're coming to the meeting, and we didn't get a response asking for more specifics, if there was any signed MOUs.
This is what they sent me on Tuesday of last week, so a week ago. We've committed to partnering with the following organizations. We'll send over the MOUs ASAP, Sarah's Daughters, and Redemption House. That was obviously a week ago. So, and then I'll forward to the council both email from the attorney for Bud Space detailing their community outreach. And then if you didn't receive it, I don't know if he did, the local pastor who has concerns about the area. And I think everyone, it shouldn't get delayed anymore. Like everyone should just vote Thursday the way they feel is appropriate and give everyone the information to make that determination. Thank you.
James. Gimme.
Evening, Council President and council members. Hope everybody's well. I have two items that I'm presenting today, item 10.2 and item 10.33. 10.2 is a resolution authorizing the extension of a contract with the Jersey City Medical Center to perform our employees' medical examinations of civilian and uniform employees, and also for applicants for employment with the city. We're requesting that this be conducted on a month-to-month basis for 3 months, not to exceed $30,000. Any questions on that or? Next item I have is 10.33. I'm working with the law department on this particular resolution. We have, in conjunction, we use the same firm, which for the various unions throughout the city for union negotiation contracts. So the resolution authorizes the renewal of the professional services agreement with Aprazese McDermott, Mastro and Murphy, PC. They represent the city during these negotiations. Any questions about the contract or the services?
Yeah, how much is that costing us, Jimmy?
There's a list of services, the way it was structured. I'll also, Peter's here as well. So just to go into some of it, we listed it by resolution, and then we just added on another 150 for this year. But if you see, it kind of spells out each resolution from 2017 all the way through, because we've been using the same firm for that period of time. So each successive negotiation we add on, the total is going to be 900,000. But most of it is predominantly house cleaning.
Stuff ourselves, Jimmy. I mean, you were part of the police department, so was I.
So the answer, so what we're doing now, Richard, from the old days to where we are now, we kind of inherited a lot of house cleaning. We're really focusing on continuity. So what we've been doing with the assistance of the law department and outside counsel is making sure that we're keeping a lot of this language similar. I'm sure you hear sometime from the unions how in different departments there might be things that are different in nature, some of the clauses, some of the grievance procedures. That doesn't, we can't just tell the union to do this, right? We have to negotiate that process. So we do need the assistance based on the manpower and the structure we have. And this firm has the qualifications to deliver that for us. And we ultimately oversee it with the under Peter's authority with his office, but it really is a tremendous help to go down this path because, every one of these lines, we have contracts that have language, Rich, from our contract that probably started when we were in the OBA 20, 30 years ago, right? So you see some of that and we're cleaning that up and sort of bringing it current to make sure that we're compliant with a lot of the laws that are currently in existence. And it's a bit of an undertaking.
We can't use them on a consultant basis?
We do. We do a lot of the stuff we do, Council President, we do in-house a lot of the projects, but because of the massive volume of each individual issue, I mean, I just dealt with 3 different issues today concerning USERRA policy, for example, military leave, right? It's a volume of material. It's a special area of law, but nevertheless, it does pop up when we have 4,000 employees. So a firm, having that firm on hand helps us to give it real-time answers to some of these questions.
What is the policy now on military leave?
We follow USERRA and we follow the executive order from the state. And there is an amount of leave depending on which, part of the service an individual is part of. It delineates what amount of money they get, how much they get and for how much time. And they're also depending too, if they're gonna be on a long-term leave, Rich, they would, they would basically have different benefits to somebody that say is going on weekend training.
You know all of that. Why we need them?
I made it sound very simple, but it's actually a bit more complicated than that. And the last thing we want to do, Madam Councilwoman, is get anything incorrect for our men and women in service.
Take care of them.
Any questions?
It's yearly, this contract,
I'm sorry, yes.
so every year, this may go up next year, right?
Right now, the rates are $175 an hour. I believe the council approved that. So generally standard, that's what we do for all of the attorneys except special circumstances.
And so if we don't use all of this, it comes back, right? Because I know when we do, like, we hire a firm for 175, if we allot it so much, if that's not all spent, then, it comes.
Yeah,
back.
Council President. So the 175 is at demand of the council, and we only exceed it with the permission of the council. So that's the standard rate, and it's a not to exceed. So that's the maximum limit it can go to. If we use less than that, it's returned back to the budget for the next year's budget appropriation. So example, if we have a contract not to exceed 100,000 and we only use 50, that additional $50 that was in 50,000 that was encumbered will be used for the next year's contract.
You know what my concern is with this though, because if we know we can contract these people and we paying this amount, my concern is the staff. Then what will the staff really focus on in a sense like this? Because it's like, if you know you can contract with just certain people, you can say, okay, just hand it to them, just send it to them. And this way here, then we definitely will spend all of that money instead of the staff, making sure they do what they can do before we even send it over to them, because it's money. That's my concern. Good point, right?
Madam Councilwoman, I assure you that won't happen under my watch. Any further questions?
We just spoke to Ed and things slipped through.
Point taken. Any further questions?
No, Jimmy.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Paul.
Good afternoon, Madam Council President, council members. I'm here on 10.23, a resolution to authorize the city to issue an RFP for services related to an Environmental Protection Agency grant to monitor air quality. Just a brief background, the city was awarded $465,000 in change to set up 3 air quality monitoring stations throughout the city. Every time you notice haze in the air, as it was present this morning, we know what's in the haze by air quality monitoring. The city currently has 1 station. The plan is to expand that, as well as to build community capacity, working with the community organizations. We will staff the project with community residents, as well as engage in a participatory process for the community to give input around environmental issues. This is all money from the federal government, from the EPA, a 3-year project.
Like, do you put up a Dyson outside, or like what system do you use for air quality?
The projected vendor is someone named Wilbur Technical Services, which has a state contract. They do this nationwide and around the state. It's basically a box that needs a small amount of electrical power, and it samples the air and records and sends data. So if you go to airnow.gov to check our current air quality, this morning it was just into the moderate range, so a slight risk to people with special sensitivities. That rating is based on the data fed by our monitoring stations. By expanding to 4 stations instead of 1, we'll get better coverage for the entire city. They'll be located on housing authority property. And the plan is not to sample the air at its best, or exactly at its worst, but we're looking for spots where we expect the air quality quality to be challenged, say close to one of the tunnels or by the turnpike or where there's a lot of truck traffic. So we'll get a picture of the worst part of the problem that we deal with so we can make public health decisions based on that data.
So you figured out the locations that you'd be using already, or?
Yes, I think we've settled on the three. They'll all be 3 housing authority sites. And again, they're providing pretty good coverage throughout the city.
Will you tell me if the air quality is bad so I don't go outside?
Well, yes, actually, when the air quality gets to a certain level, we tweet it out on Healthier JC. We also inform the city's communications office so that they can send an alert if warranted.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Keep Yusuf inside. Tell him every day it's bad.
Hey, Paul, I know, when I was, speaking with Stacy, she mentioned, guess we will revisit the, RFPs for the crisis intervention add to the budget. Do you have an update or where we at with that?
I can give you a limited amount of information on that, Councilman. As I understand, the RFP was issued today. It has been in process for some time, but it was scheduled to have been made public today. So that also limits the amount that I'm able to comment on it.
Okay.
Other than to say that it's a badly needed service and we'd love to get it in-house as soon as possible.
Paul, you finished? Because
Yes.
I got a question for you.
The record.
Not off the record.
Okay.
Oh, it's all on the record.
All right, okay. When are you going to do something about the rats running around on Summit Avenue, Magnolia Avenue? I mean, people are complaining. We've been asking for months. I know the developer on the corner of, what is it, Magnolia and Summit. You know, they didn't want to put out rat poison because they said the dogs might eat it. That's a lot of BS. People are complaining all in that whole area where all this development is going on about the rats. They're digging up the sewers on Magnolia. They're digging up the sewers over by Sip Avenue, and the rats are out of control. Something has to be done.
Councilman, we agree. We've received similar complaints from other areas. I will say this is the first I've personally heard of Magnolia Avenue, but we'll be happy to take a look at that.
Oh, I've called, are you kidding? I've called the health department. I spoke to you a couple of times about it months ago. It's still going on and people are still complaining.
So
I spoke to Stacy.
Councilman, I'll look at the record, but certainly you tell me it's a problem, we'll take a look at it.
And then I
With
was
regards to the
by either yourself or Stacy that the developers don't want to put out rat poison because they're afraid the dogs in the neighborhood might eat it. That's
Well, I believe it's part of the city's construction permitting process to
Correct.
require developers to do that.
That's true.
And we're actively looking at that in places where we've had other concerns. I'll make sure to look at this tomorrow
Please, Paul.
and get back to your office specifically.
Yeah, please, because, and some of the, like 77 Magnolia,
Yeah.
the garbage cans, they got to get better garbage cans in there because the rats were in there. And all the way up Magnolia, Summit Avenue, Sip Avenue's having a problem.
I'm afraid to say,
Paul.
Councilman, that this area is not alone. As you know, if you've read the national press, it's an issue
Correct.
which affects many places. Thank you very much.
But I spoke to the law department this morning and they're reviewing the ordinance to make sure we enforced it. But I spoke to Peter this morning. Thank you,
Excellent.
Paul.
Thank you.
John?
Good afternoon, Council President, members of the council. I have 2 to discuss tonight. The first is item 3.7, ordinance 23-092. This deals with monies that are sitting in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. There's a state statute that requires us to spell out in our city code exactly how we spend the money in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. This is being amended to allow for us to use money in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund on a rental assistance program that could be given out as grants. It would be specifically for people that are low or moderate income pursuant to HUD or HMFA.
Thank you for this. Really appreciate this.
Some of the best work you've done, young man.
Any questions?
Thank you, John. Thank you for all your effort in this, because you know we was going back and forth with Councilwoman Prince Airy. I know me and Councilman Solomon, we met too. So we want to thank you, because we know we was pressing you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad we're getting it on. The second one I have is item number 10.3, Resolution 23-651. This is authorizing a memorandum of agreement with 335 Washington Realty LLC. This is in relation to an ordinance that's tabled at the moment for the acquisition of the old, I believe it's an old boiler room connected to the property. They're supposed to turn it over to us in white box condition, but there's environmental issues with the fill at the moment that they need to remediate. And the MOA just basically says that we're not going to take it before the remediation occurs. And that if they file for a site plan approval, the city needs to own the property before they can get any approval. So it's basically holding them to their word per the redevelopment plan.
Sorry, Joe. Joe, what's the need for the MOU? Wouldn't the city be able to just not accept the property if they haven't done it?
Yeah, we could do that. I think it's just to settle any concerns that anyone would have had that they wouldn't live up to their word.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council President and council members. I'm here to present two resolutions. Resolution 1054, authorizing a month-to-month extension with the existing janitorial contract.
1050, I thought we did.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, yeah, well, I was,
He explained it, but she wasn't here, so he was.
Oh,
I apologize. Someone was blocking my driveway and it took me a minute to get here.
And go to the next one. Go ahead, Sonia.
Resolution 1055, authorizing the awardment of contract to Tux Cleaning Services. That will be the new vendor providing janitorial services.
Director, I had two questions. One was just if you could explain the need for the temporary contract and then the permanent.
That's to ensure that we do not stay without any cleaning services.
I got it. And then the second one for the Tux, could you kind of outline how the wages and benefits differ from this compared to the old contract?
Well, the wages did change because they're union contracted by 32 BJ. That is the difference now. They just received a cost of living increase.
Right.
So that's the reason why it's different. The contract that we are previously extending, it's a 7-year-old contract. It was before I came onto the Department of Public Works.
Okay. And for the employees in the city, is that are the ones who were here, might that mean a change for them? Or?
They're just going to move over to the next.
Just move over to the
Yeah,
next.
they're moving over to the next vendor. No one will be losing their job.
Okay, thank you.
Let me ask you, the employees that we have now, based on their salaries, they will be making more than the new people that come on?
No.
No, everybody has the same salary across the board?
Absolutely. Yes.
Interesting. Only reason why I said it, because I know some of them here have been working here a long time, and if someone just come along, a new
No.
hire, they'll make what they make?
No, the vendor hires them all at the same rate, which is why you have the cost of increase now. They're all making the same rate. And these people that have been with us here were from the previous janitorial service. They're all making the same rate. I looked into that because I did hear that from a couple of people, but that's not true. They're all on the same rate. Thank you.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Bayfront. Bayfront.
It's gonna be, gonna have closed session on this?
Yeah, we
Yeah, there's a lot of questions
Yeah,
on this.
I know there's a lot of questions, but they wanted to just give their presentation.
No, not for this.
They can do a presentation.
It won't go for that.
Not a long one.
Short.
Which number it is here? Go ahead.
Hi, it's ordinance 23093, item 3.8. Council President, council members, Joe Bauman, McManaman, Scott Bauman, council to the city on the redevelopment plan and the financial agreement. This payment in lieu of taxes is a long time in coming. The project is for sure. You'll recall a brief history. This began decades ago when citizen groups forced the cleanup of the Bayfront property. That took literally decades to accomplish. At the end of that journey, the city determined that this property would be best developed if it began with the city and the city acquired the property. You acquired it with a vision to have a 35% affordable housing component, sort of unheard of generally throughout the country, and the city decided that they were going to take control of the development, and as a result, impose a 35% affordable housing obligation, which this first project does. So this is the inaugural project at the Bayfront property. The particular developer was selected through a competitive process. We put out an RFP, 6 development teams responded. We shortlisted them and eventually picked 2. This was the first of the 2 we picked. They were vetted by the Citizens Committee that was charged by the mayor to review the applications to participate in the development process. This agency subsequently signed a redevelopment agreement. They've obtained their site plan approval, and now we're down to one of the last few steps in order to have this project become a reality. Literally a decades-long journey for the city to turn a contaminated site into a model mixed income project. The project itself is 210 residential units with 10,000 square feet of retail. The 10,000 square feet is meant to be an amenity for the people who live there. It's intended to be things like a credit union, a tech educational center, perhaps a daycare, things like that in the first floor. The project will have 35%, as described, affordable housing. Those 35% residents will be 65%, will be 60% or lower medium income. So it's on the lower end of the affordable housing in our first project. The pilot itself, which we're asking you to favorably consider, would set a 5% of annual gross revenues pilot, which is what was proposed by almost every proposer asked a pilot in a similar range. So they were not an outlier when we went into the market. We've been able to hold that 5% with help of Mike Hanley, who's here with me today, our financial advisor. We held that number through, despite the challenges of the pandemic, inflation, credit crunch, you name it. And we are here today with that, asking the council to favorably consider that financial agreement.
We're going to have a closed session, but do anybody have any?
Yeah.
Discussing that.
This is endorsed by Jersey
Have a
Together.
closed session.
The plan or the pilot is endorsed by NJ Together.
I don't think we've specifically engaged with them, but I would be shocked if they didn't see 35% of all housing is not a significant move in that direction.
I think a lot of this has to be explained more to us. I own a one-family home here. Many of the people in the city, we're tired of tax abatements, and we want to know more about this. I know the city redevelopment paid $100 million for all this 43 acres, I believe, and they're selling it off for practically nothing. And I think there's a lot more that we have to know about this before.
I understand, Councilman. If there's a closed session meeting, we'll be there and we can get into some of the details, which I agree are more appropriate for a closed session.
I just want to confirm, when is the closed session?
Around 7.
Yeah.
But Sean is not here,
Sean
so,
isn't here.
right, it should be Thursday an hour before to start the closed
Now
session.
let's tell you and bring it back next council meeting.
No, but the first closed session is Thursday at 5 p.m.
It currently says, well, the resolution as it's uploaded says 6:30, but it sounded like you wanted to have it now I think the problem is the council needs to convene and vote to authorize it before the meeting actually takes place.
So say that again, Peter? 6:30. Yeah, that's our council meeting.
Right, it says a closed session of the municipal council will be held on Thursday, September 7th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m.
Right.
Well, it's kind of a catch-22 situation because the council has to vote to authorize the closed session before the closed session can take place.
Table it.
Well, those are the questions that we asked before we scheduled the closed session, if it needed to be voted on or not. And we were told that we didn't have to vote on it.
I was not asked that question. Was that question directed toward the clerk's office? Okay, I apologize for that, but that is,
Maybe like there's some rule, because I know they go into executive session at the Board of Ed. They have like some sort of, I don't know if that's what the clerk was
We could go.
talking about.
Executive session. I don't know if that is something that the council will want to do in the middle of a council meeting. We don't know how long this discussion is going to take. My suggestion and my ask of my colleagues is that we move this forward for first reading and that we have the closed session between first and second reading.
that's another,
So we might need to update that and change that date.
yeah, that's,
We can defer if you want to, the day of the meeting.
Okay.
but in the meantime, Council President, do you want me to talk to Annie and see if we can get a date that by Thursday we can reschedule this for? Right, we would have to vote on Thursday to authorize the closed session on a future date.
Right.
And just to answer Councilman Saleh's question about Jersey City Together, Jersey City Together has a member on the Bayfront committee and has been part of this process for the last however many years, 5 years now, 6 years now that we've been meeting about this.
Correct.
Yeah, so while I do not want to speak for them as an official endorsement, they've been a partner in this process the whole time.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Just one additional question, which we could talk about the closed session. I just want to phrase it now in advance. I see there's a kind of project labor agreement and PECA. If we could just get details on what that looks like. And then subsequent to that, if there are any permanent jobs in this development, are those also subject to any type of agreement, prevailing wages for the long-term employment in addition to the construction employment? So I just questions to say now we can talk about in the closed session.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. We'll be at your disposal when you determine the executive session.
What about the 11th? I know a lot of us is around about 5 o'clock. Is that good? Reason why I'm saying 5.
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, that's
Okay. 9/11, 5
Okay,
PM.
What, 5 PM you said? Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah, Mr.
9/11.
Go ahead.
That's a disastrous day.
It's gonna confuse us. No, it'll confuse. It's a separate topic. It
Okay,
will
okay.
intersect in it.
So, okay, you can mark the calendar.
Thank
Okay,
you.
9
Okay,
5 PM.
thank you, Council.
Caucus room. We'll be here. Okay, man, just take it from the top. Anybody else? Take it from the top. You have it. 3.1 is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'll come back.
Okay, so we have our first reading ordinances. Item 3.1, ordinance 23-086, an ordinance providing for various 2023 capital improvements by and in the city of Jersey City in the county of Hudson, state of New Jersey, reappropriating $11,730,000 in excess bonds, proceeds from various bond ordinances not needed for their original purpose to finance the costs thereof.
Go ahead.
3.2.
Wait a minute, Amanda.
Council, as we look towards January, February of doing a new bond issuance, we're cleaning up the old capital accounts and reappropriating them to some of the projects that we have gap funding in now, so that we won't ask for additional funds in the next round. I noticed that it's not attached, but for the council's consideration, I will have the accounts that it's being taken away from. No projects are being canceled or omitted. It's some projects were $400,000 less than anticipated over a series of time. And I know the council has also requested when those bonds were issued. I know they go back to, some of them back to 2009. So we'll have a spreadsheet of each item, how much, what it was for, and where it's being reallocated.
Thank you.
Okay, resolutions 3.2 to 3.5 were touched on. Item 3.6, ordinance 23-091, and ordinance rescinding ordinances 17-107 and 20-083, and terminating the tax exemption and financial agreement with CICF 2 NJB02 UR LLC. 3.7 to 3.
Anybody here for that?
Yeah, probably. Can I speak on that?
3.6.
3.6.
When Peter gets back from the restroom, if we can come back to it.
Okay. Come on.
Okay, on to our second reading ordinances. Item 4.1, ordinance 23-015, a franchise ordinance of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City to vacate a portion of Morton Place located to the northwest of John F. Kennedy Boulevard in the City of Jersey City in the County of Hudson in the State of New Jersey. We touched upon.
My only question, I guess, how do, like, what do the city, what do we get in return for this? For vacating that portion of Martin Place? I think, was, you said they doing what?
To normally get some type of walk or pathway, but somebody should be here to.
Yeah, 4.1, John.
Council, I'll have Chuck here on Thursday to discuss it, and if the council would like, we could carry it if there's an issue.
Okay, so with Peter being back, do you guys want to go back to 3.6?
Okay, this would have come from abatement and compliance, abatement and compliance nevertheless. This ordinance should have been submitted by abatement and compliance to terminate a tax abatement. I apologize, it is opening as we speak. Okay. I can familiarize myself with this and get back to you on that.
We gotta come back again.
Okay, so for the second reading ordinances, we went over 4.2 and 4.3. We're on to item 4.4, ordinance 23-079, a franchise ordinance granting permission to 335 Washington Realty LLC, its successors and assigns to make private improvements, including stairs, ramps, and platform within the public right-of-way of Washington Street and the public right-of-way of Bay Street, adjacent to lot 1.02, block 11611 on the official tax assessment map of the City of Jersey City. Item 4.5, ordinance 23-080, a franchise ordinance granting permission to 215 Warren LLC pursuant to a resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City under case number P21-153 to landscape a portion of the sidewalk up to 3.5 feet encroaching into the right-of-way of Sussex Street for the benefit of Lot 22 at Block 14202, land now or formerly of 215 Warren LLC. Presently, the lot encroaches at least 5 feet into the right-of-way beyond the boundary lines of Lot 22 and Block 14202 and into the aforementioned rights of way. Item 4.6, ordinance 23-081.
That is an ordinance amending Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Department of Administration, Section 41, Powers and Duties of the Business Administrator of the Jersey City Municipal Code to authorize the business administrator to execute license agreements with owners of high-rise buildings under construction, to permit the division of fire and emergency services to conduct high-rise crane operator rescue training and fire suppression system training, and to approve a form license agreement for high-rise crane operator rescue training and fire suppression system training. Item 4.7, ordinance 23-082, an ordinance of the City of Jersey City and the County of Hudson, State of New Jersey, authorizing the transfer of city-owned real property identified on the tax map of the City of Jersey City as Block 11401, Lot 25 of the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency. Item 4.8, ordinance 23-083 is an ordinance authorizing the City of Jersey City to enter into a lease with the New Jersey Schools Development Authority on the real property at Block 21102, Lot 52 on the city's tax map located at 70 Egie Avenue for the purposes of temporary parking for the Via Jersey City service. Item 4.9, ordinance 23-084, an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, Section 332-8, prohibited right turns on red signal, to prohibit turns on red at all times at 2 locations on the high injury network. And item 4.10, ordinance 23-085, a franchise ordinance granting permission to 331 Zip LLC, its assessors and assigns to make private improvements consisting of upper floor projections over the public sidewalk in a new residential building on the south side of 331 Sip Avenue, also known as Block 11902, Lot 34 of the official tax assessment map of the City of Jersey City.
John, I want that tabled because the reason is this developer met with the community quite a while back. The community agreed to everything with them. Then they turned around, they went to the planning board and they made a load of changes, and the community is quite upset about this. They want the developers back to meet with them, and I'm advising you, believe me, there's a lot of people ticked off about this, that this be tabled and have the developer go back to the community and meet with them.
Yeah, so I can attest to that because this was in Ward B at the time. They had the original meeting, and this is really not good protocol at all. They were very upset with the changes that were made that were not presented to them, and I support the tabling of this until the community can get additional information.
I think procedurally as a second reading, wouldn't we just either we could carry it or we could vote it down?
I would suggest carrying it first before we do a full vote down. We want to make sure that the community is on board with this. If they're not on board with it, obviously, then I would say vote it down. But until that time, yes. No, we're carrying it, not tabling it. Yeah, carrying it.
So the community has.
No, the community, they have to meet with the community.
They have to meet with the community, so it would be in their best interest to do it sooner rather than later, but we are not agreeing to bring it back at the next meeting until they have that meeting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Next on the agenda, there will be a public hearing on the West Side SID assessment role and budget. Then we have our request for public hearing. As of now, there are 17 speakers. That was when this was printed at 3 p.m. today. Then we have our petitions And communications, that's items 6.1 to 6.31. Are there any questions on that? No, okay, then are there any questions or comments for the officers' communications, items 7.1 to 7.9? Okay, and there are no reports of directors. Then we have our claims. Are there any questions or comments for that? Okay, now we are on to our resolutions. Item 10.1, Resolution 23-649, a resolution authorizing the purchase of Block 3702, Lot 22, 117 Hunt Street for a purchase price of $925,000 and ratifying and amending the corresponding purchase and sale agreement. 10.2.
If anyone has any questions on that, I can answer them. I know this got tabled at one meeting because there was concern about the purchase price. And what had happened there was there were two parties that had ownership in common of the property. So what you saw is the more recent purchase price that seemed lower. It was just one person's half of the property getting bought out.
John, what are we purchasing the property for?
I believe this is for the North District Police Station.
Are you kidding? Why can't we keep the North District station we have and just spend maybe a couple $100,000 and fix it up? It's a beautiful building, which the city doesn't take care of any of their property. But we're going to be spending another $10 million building a building. It's a joke.
This is for the, was this for the?
Yeah, no, we need a new budget.
The circuit, to make it a circuit?
It's so that the police can enter one area and then they can exit through another. There's gonna be a bottleneck and a lot of issues if you just have one entry and exit point from one side of the street. So Sherman Place has an entry and Hutton Street has an exit. And that was done in coordination with all the residents when they were deciding to put this new district up. That was one of their biggest concerns. And then they would be parking underneath the, underneath the district. So they need to have some point of ingress and egress for these vehicles, and they can't just be blocking the street and all of that.
So John, my major concern was just the purchase. So one party brought out the other party, thus you see the 500, whatever.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. I just wanted clarity on that.
Makes sense.
All this money we're spending on all these new buildings all over the city, instead of taking care of the property we have. We sold 8 Erie Street, which is a disgrace. It was a beautiful building, police headquarters. We sold it for practically nothing. The developer sold it for what, $40 million? And then we go down, we're building all over the city. Now we're going to build a new North District. The East District, the second precinct, a beautiful building. It's been there for 100 years. Our problem is we don't take care of our property in this city. We let everything fall apart. And then the taxpayers, and Yusuf, you're complaining about our taxes and what we're spending on the police department. This is an out and out shame. We don't need a new North District. We don't need a new East District either. Just fix the buildings up we have.
The problem is it's over 100 years old at this.
What?
It is not up to code.
Kevin's 85. I mean, is the we like to get him? Come on.
Kevin's.
Right, Kevin?
I don't know how to respond.
Had to get that one in, Kevin.
Order in the court.
I mean, we're spending money like crazy in this city. Our taxes are going up. The city has financial problems. We got to stop it. Take care of what we have.
Are there any other questions?
Just for the future, I hear what Rich is saying, that we need to take care of what we have. Sometimes it's good to give an estimate on if we rehabilitate a building, how much that would cost versus a new building. That would help, because then people can see if you're putting too much in reinvesting in a building, or is it better or cost effective to create a new one. So I think that would be, it would help us out, and he wouldn't be so upset, because you remember he loves his.
That'd be helpful. In addition to, not to get into a war here, but like the East District is being rebuilt through a redevelopers agreement. So there are some of those nuances that ultimately are cost savings to the city.
Right.
Just not upfront as the councilman wishes to see.
That would just help us a lot, and not only that, the public would see it too. Okay, thank you.
Okay, items 10.2 and 10.3, those were touched on. Item 10.4, resolution 23-652 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Royal Printing Service for printing service for various city printing needs. Item 10.5, resolution 23-653 is a resolution ratifying a contract award to Royal Printing Service for printing the official election machine and sample ballots for the primary election June 6, 2023. Item 10.6, resolution 23-654, a resolution accepting the assessment roll of the 2023-2024 West Side Avenue Special Improvement District of the City of Jersey City. Item 10.7, resolution 23-655, a resolution adopting and ratifying the 2023-2024 budget of the West Side Avenue Special Improvement District of the City of Jersey City. Item 10.8, resolution 23-656 is a resolution commemoratively designating Van Winkle Avenue between Senate Place and Tunnelly Avenue in the City of Jersey City as Sabella Way in honor of Theodore Sabella. 10.9 through 10.13, those items were touched on. 10.14, I believe we are going to have that one withdrawn.
Yeah, we're going to carry this to the next meeting, council. The council had reached out and they want to clarify some language.
Okay, thank you. Items 10.15 to 10.26 were all touched on. Items 10.27 to 10.29 were as well. We are up to item 10.30, resolution 23-678, which is a resolution approving the appointment of Joyce E. Waterman to the Jersey City Housing Authority Board of Commissioners.
No.
Item 10.31 was touched on. Item 10.32, resolution 23-680, resolution ratifying the award of a professional services agreement with the law offices of John L. Shannon. I'm going to butcher that last name, I'm sorry. LLC to represent the City of Jersey City in the matter of Ann Doyle versus the City of Jersey City. Item 10.33 was touched on. Item 10.34, resolution 23-682 is a resolution renewing a professional services agreement with the law firm of Adams, Gutierrez, and Lataburo LLC to act as third-party hearing officers for the City of Jersey City in various disciplinary actions. Item 10.35, resolution 23-683, resolution renewing a professional services agreement with Michael A. Armstrong and Associates LLC to represent former Director of the City of Jersey City of Recreation, Arthur Williams, in the matter of Daniel Wiley versus City of Jersey City. Item 10.36, resolution 23-684, resolution authorizing the settlement of the lawsuit known as Familia Keller and Dennis Keller versus the City of Jersey City. Docket number HUDL 1942-1.
Thanks. Councilman, can I pause here? For 36, 37, 38, all settlements, would we be able to have a closed session to discuss as opposed to just memos?
We can do that. However, we are facing some deadlines on at least one of these. I believe it might even be all three as far as getting them approved and processed. So if you have any questions, I'm quite happy to answer them offline in addition to the memo. But I would ask that the council consider these on Thursday.
What's the deadline?
Okay, we have, as part of our settlement agreement, we have payment on a couple of these by September 30th, and that would not be completed. They have to go, once the council approves, it has to go to the insurance fund commission, which will then which will then vote and approve the issuance of the check, which would then take place after September 30th. So at that point, we might be looking at potentially interest that would be on top of any judgment, as well as possibly costs of going to court. If there's a motion to enforce a settlement.
Let me ask you something. Our next meeting is September 20th. If we bring it back then, is that enough time? Because you said by September 30th.
Well,
That's why, do they have to
as you
receive it by the 30th?
We would have
really
to
don't
check
know.
to see when the IFC is meeting. Normally, it's the last Tuesday. I can check with our risk manager.
When is
I'm the chairperson of the IFC, so we can have a special meeting.
Thank you.
too.
The only reason why, because of what we have done in the past, we all has met before we settle.
So
So we'll know why.
So we'll carry it, and then we will, I will schedule a special meeting of the IFC to confirm it the day after the council meeting.
Council, we could even add this to Monday.
If you want to add that to Monday, because it's going to be overwhelming. I mean, it's going to be overwhelming. You know, I just think each year, I don't want to rush through it.
Of course.
Okay, and the only reason why I don't want to add it to Monday, because Bayfront, you can see there's a lot of concerns. You want to give Bayfront the attention that it deserves. Okay, when you know you got other things on the agenda, your mind is racing.
So I'll work with Tammy then to find a date with that.
You know what I mean? I mean, we can do it the next week or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We could do it that, or we can do this, because things like this sometimes is not that long. We can schedule it an hour before the next caucus meet. I mean, the next council meeting or caucus meet. No, because you're here at 5. Gotta get here. Okay, so then at the next council meeting, we can do the closed session on this. The next council meeting is at 6, so we can schedule this at 5.
5 o'clock on the
Right.
20th, which is the next.
Correct.
meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, item 10.37, resolution 23-685, resolution authorizing the settlement of the action entitled Lubna Manir versus City of Jersey City. It's docket number HUDL 2170-20.
Amanda, we're going to carry all three of those.
Right, I think 10, 36, 37, and 38 will be withdrawn, subject to the closed session meeting with the council.
So we'll be carrying those and adding one additional resolution, Council President. Yep.
Okay, so we move forward to item 10.39, resolution 23-687, a resolution authorizing the closed session of the municipal council on September 7, 2023 at 6:30 to discuss the investment. Okay, but we're changing.
No, September
We're doing
11th.
11th now, right? Oh, okay, we'll leave that one alone for now.
The
But
new date and time will be September 11th, 5 p.m.
Thank you. So 10 items 10.40 and 10.41 as well as 10.42 were all touched on. 10.43 is a resolution authorizing liens against the properties listed herein for the cost of removing litter, debris, etc. in accordance with NJSA 40:48-2.14 and Jersey City Code Section 287-4. Items 10.44 to 10.4 touched on. Items 10.49 to 10.5 were also touched on. 10.60 was as well. Item 10.61, Resolution 23-709, a resolution of the need and support for the City of Jersey City regarding 701 Newark Avenue.
So council, we did have meetings after last council meeting with Councilman Borgiano, and we have worked on some additional parking over the Journal Square area. And Chuck is going to put in the agreement that it's mandated that they will replace the parking, thanks to Councilman Borgiano.
Yeah, John, I spoke to Chuck Carrington again. I spoke to the others. I'm gonna be around hopefully for the next several years, whether in the neighborhood or what. They better comply to all the agreements we made.
Yeah, we're looking to put it, we're looking to put it into the agreement that they can't build without, these recommended spots.
But is that gonna alter the affordable housing? Is that gonna alter it or?
No, it's off-site. It's off-site, and they won't get COs on those properties unless it's included.
Before we close, because that's the last one, right, Amanda?
No, there's,
10.6,
Yeah.
we did speak on. Did you want to go back to 3.6 with Peter, or is that you're going to email them another time?
Sure, I can speak on that quickly if the council would like. This is a termination of an abatement from, the abatement was transferred in 2020. Simply put, they just have not complied with their PICA agreement. There were in particular the residency issues, but there were some other issues. It's included in the letters that are attached as exhibits. Obviously, that will be up to the council to vote up or down on that termination, but if there are any other questions, I think myself or Ms. Abuwan would be happy to help you with that.
And I want to make sure we add the resolution for the closed session for September the 20th.
Yep, I have that in my notes.
Okay, you bring that.
motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn at 6:19 PM made by Councilperson Saleh, seconded by.
Second.
Okay, I'll give it to Councilwoman Prinzary. Ridley? Okay, Ridley, thank you. All council members by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are out of here at 6:19 PM. Thank you.
For a long time. I like it. Yeah, and it's a nice and inexpensive color, right? So